Guys, this is going to be, we're going to be interactive here today. We're going to do things a little bit differently. The last few sessions have been basically, everybody just listening in and doing, listening to what we're having to say, which has been great. We got some good coaching. But today, what I want to do as I go through my slides is I want us all to learn from each other. And, if you guys have some things that are working for you, then at the end of each slide that I'm going to present, I'm just going to basically ask you if you've got anything that you want to add, anything that you guys are using that is, that is good. Because I'll tell you what, when I do my coaching with the Icon guys that are, we're doing the panels and stuff, I learn just as much from that, and I'm doing the coaching from the people that are interacting and telling us what's working for them, because what works for me might work differently for someone else. And if you can, add value to the conversation today, then that would be, really much appreciated. And that way we've got a little bit of everything from everybody, because everybody's at a different stage in their career, right? I mean, I've been doing this 21 years. So what we used to do 20 years ago is completely different than, what Pat and his team is doing now, right? So, what works for certain people might not work for others. So today we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and, some of the things that I've used over the years that have worked. And obviously I've had to change, right? Us making the move to EXP forced me to change a lot of things that we were doing because of technology and everything else. But it was because of the younger people like Pat pushing me to say, hey, if you don't change and you're not willing to change, then you're going to be left behind, right? And I didn't want to be that dinosaur. I wanted to be better. So that's why we ended up making the change. And so we'll just go through some of the, hey, Steve, how's it going?
Went on.
Hey, I was just saying to everybody that I was hoping, and I'm glad you're here. So if you're able to stay, that's awesome. But what I want to do is make this interactive and make sure that we're all getting some input on this. Because again, Steve, you guys are doing things that are different than what I'm doing as well. Okay. Um, so basically, the first thing we're going to talk about is target marketing. Okay. I'm no expert in this. I know that we do it. I know that I have a marketing department that looks after this for me. Brent Waldy, who, I'll give him all the credit in the world. This guy has been the genius behind our whole team for the last 7 or 8 years. And, as far as target marketing goes, using Google Ads, social media ads to reach specific demographics and geographical areas, which is really neat because you can be very specific with this stuff when you're running your ads, right? Not as specific as we used to be, a couple of years ago. I think they've kind of changed things a little bit as far as demographics go, but you can be specific in certain areas so that you're not wasting your money on ads, in areas that you don't even cover. Okay. Obviously, what's that? Somebody? Okay. If you guys aren't talking, just put yourself on mute. But if you have something to say, then anybody have any input on these Google ads? Pat, you guys are doing some ads as well, right? Locally and different things that you're running.
Yeah, not running anything through Google though, but
Okay.
we just use a stuff, targeted ads, and then we've done the most recent one is the KV Core boosted ads. Like, is that through Make It Rain?
No, just through KV Core, like the property boost feature.
Which went really well.
Yeah.
Like actually, that's actually been the best one we've done yet.
Yeah, they're working well.
As far as leads being receptive, sorry.
Right. So the KV Core ads, for those of you that are with EXP, or actually, I mean, I think a lot of people use KV Core. I think Roll of Page is using KV Core. So I don't know. There's some agents here that might not be from EXP, but with the KV Core, are they being specific to certain areas, or are they just based on your listings?
These ones that we've run are based on our listings.
Right.
But you can run it however you want.
Right.
But so we ran it on a specific listing. And so everybody that I'm calling is specifically interested in that property. So honestly, it's been like the next best thing to like a realtor.ca lead, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're interested.
So that's always the case. If you're running an ad based on a listing that you have, right? It's always going to be better than any other blanketed ad that you're going to run, right? Like we run Facebook ads, looking for buyers, looking for sellers and things like that. And a lot of times those leads are not great, but I'm going to tell you this, guys, just so you know, the average conversion on a lead, any lead that you get in is 2 to 3%. And if you got a lead company that's telling you different, they're lying to you. All right. Some of the lead companies that are running ads where they're actually vetting the person ahead of time, which is, you know, usually involved in a phone call. Today, you're not getting phone calls. It's all AI doing all the work now, right? But sometimes they vet the lead, and that one's a little bit better because now they've put their hand up. They've said, yes, I want an agent to contact me, and away we go. All right. But if you're getting listings, that's why they say list to live, right? Because if you're getting listings, I guarantee you're going to get leads off of those listings. One, you're going to be able to do open houses. Two, you're going to be able to generate leads from realtor.ca. And three, if you want to boost those ones, you're going to be able to get those as well, right? Anybody else got any input on that?
I feel like I can add to that too. So I do a lot of those TV core ads, and at first, like I always send those to my team. And I found their perception of the leads, like they thought they were inferior for some reason to Realtor.ca leads. So I stopped showing where they were coming from. And now they have no idea. They don't know if it's a Realtor.ca lead, if they called me directly. I just give it to them and see if they can convert it, because it shouldn't matter. And I think it's just sometimes a matter of that perception of how they are, but you just have to get past that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a great idea, because a lead's a lead, and you should be able to convert it no matter where it comes from, right?
Exactly.
And your scripts should pretty much be the same as well. Any other input, guys, before I move ahead on the next one? Okay. All right. Okay. Websites and portal. Okay, this should be standard, right? I mean, everybody should have a website. Everybody should have something that's good.
Can I add something to the last slide?
Yes, sir.
So we used to do a ton of Facebook ads, and it was about 80% Facebook and then 20% Google. So then we ended up switching within the last year to about 80% Google and 20% Facebook. And from our experience, the Google leads are much better than the Facebook ones. You have a much better chance of converting those. That's what I mean. That's just from our
100%.
sample size, which is pretty big. They're a little bit more expensive, but in my opinion, it's probably a good idea to do kind of a mix of the both.
Yeah.
But I would personally, I would put more money into Google, especially if you're open to it and you have the money. Google organic, because that eventually the SEO, starts working, and you end up it ends up just kind of taking a life form of its own if you have your own website and you have Google SEO behind it. So it's something to think about if you do it early on in your career. It's a good idea. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting. That's what I want. So, and that's a good note, because yes, Google is a little bit more money, but you're getting better leads. And the reason you're getting better leads is because people are actually doing a search, whereas on Facebook, they're just scrolling through and they just catch it. And then, so sometimes they're not as good. But again, you need to have, a presence everywhere you go, right? Grant Cardone always says, you have to have that omnipresence in the market. And so you've got to be everywhere. So you got to do a little bit of everything, right? But yes, Google, I agree 100%, has always been better for us. So websites,
I got one question just on that. Steve, when you guys run those, this may be like a silly question, but like how do you guys run the ads through Google? Like, can you just go into Google's back end and run it, or you're having other like companies set those ads up? Does that make sense to me?
Yeah. It's not just about the ads though. It's about having your own website with its own blogs and constantly putting information in. I mean, if you can do that yourself, great, but there's companies out there that do it.
Okay.
For us, Brent
Google
got to do those, and he can run our ads for us, and that's what he's been doing. So, of course, I don't know how to do it. but I know it does work better. It does cost more, but it works better for sure. I consider Facebook more of a branding advertising, for people to see that you're out there, right? Since I started back up in December, doing more selling, we've been doing a lot more branding with it. And now people are, finally saying to me, oh, hey, you're selling again. Everybody thought I was retired because I wasn't doing any of that. And now we're doing it and people are realizing. So it's working, and, we're definitely getting stuff out of it. Now, websites. Okay. Talking about websites. So obviously a lot of us use the KV Core website. We have our own website. It's a lead gen website with database management system, the CRM built into it. So that's a good tool that we can use. But then there's also, you can have secondary websites. We're in the process right now of actually creating two other websites. One is going to be for real estate, and the other one is going to be for my agent attraction side of things. That's going to have coaching and things like that on it. But the other site is for exactly what Steve is talking about, is to create more traffic and things like that for our team. So that is going to be coming in soon. So now, as far as advertising on other websites, is anybody using any really good websites right now that you're putting your listings on that is generating anything for you? Just go ahead and start talking, guys, if you've got something that's cool. No? All right. So everybody's just using a standard website then? Okay. So I think that's pretty normal. I was just hoping that somebody had something really interesting here to throw in, but make sure that your listings are accurate, detailed, and include high quality visuals. How many times have you went online and you've seen people with really crappy photos, really bad lighting? Okay. Make sure you invest in your business and you use a professional photographer and you use professional video, and that you're doing something really good. It's okay to do like little reels and stuff like that that you're going to post on social media with your phone and things. But, when it comes down to the property itself, the better it looks, the better, the better you look, and the more people are going to call you. Because I'm going to tell you this, people are researching agents, especially in this market. You're going to find people are going to get picky with their agents, right? And you've got to make sure that you're at the top of your game. And nowadays it's kind of the standard. Like, there is no other standard. You have to have professional pictures. If you don't, somebody else does, you just look awful. Okay. All right. Content marketing. All right. So we want to do, Steve is very good at this, and he's doing a lot of content. Pat has been very, very successful and is the number one, in our area for content that he's putting out there on social media platforms. You want to make sure that you're putting this everywhere, right? Not only on, YouTube is one of the best ones right now to create leads from, because people are actually, again, it comes down to the search, right? They're doing a search, they're going in, they're looking for properties in a certain area. But then if they happen to see your video of, hey, top 5 reasons to live in Ottawa, top 10 reasons why the best ones are the ones that you say, top 10 reasons why you shouldn't live in Ottawa, or top 10 reasons why you shouldn't live in Kingston. People want to look at the negative more than they want to look at the positive, because they're researching that city and they want to know what's there, right? Obviously, you're going to turn it all into a positive once they get there. But you could talk about some of the things, right? Like, hey, Kingston, what are I did one, reasons why not to move to Kingston. Our roads are awful, right? Our roads are some of the worst roads in the country. So people need to know that, right? And if you're being honest and you're being genuine, then guess what? You're gonna get that audience, and it's gonna be good. All right. Any ideas, guys? Give me some social media. There's a lot of good social media people on this call. I know right now. Somebody give me some ideas on some of the content that you guys are creating. Somebody volunteer, or I'll volunteer you.
I did a movie trailer theme video for an open house on Saturday.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Mark, you're getting very creative with your videos, which is good. Mark, why don't you talk about the video series that you've been doing?
Oh, trying to do.
Yeah. Talk about that.
So it's been a challenge getting all the agents booked on the same day as well as Ryan, right? But
yeah,
I'm trying to key into neighborhoods and areas to feature, and bringing in, it's not just me. I want to bring in preferably the agent that actually lives in that area to talk about their neighborhood. But as I just mentioned, it's kind of been a challenge to get everyone lined up on the same day.
Yeah, realtors
but yeah,
are
that's the theme, to talk about specific neighborhoods, what people like, don't like, what the features are in the area, what sort of businesses are in the area.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I think it's awesome because you are covering all the different areas, and that's going to create a lot of traction for you, right, on YouTube. And it might not, like everybody says, guys, it's 6 to 12 months down the road. So don't expect to shoot a video, post it tomorrow, and start getting leads next week. You have to do consistent, stuff all the time, right? And if you're going to do it once a month, do it once a month religiously. If you're going to do it 3 times a week, make sure you do it 3 times a week. Don't do it, 3 times this week and don't do it for 2 months. Okay. Pat,
I
can you talk?
haven't posted them yet, Pierre, just because I want to make sure that I'm gonna be doing a complete series on it before I
Yeah.
start posting them.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. That's
right.
good. No, that's
Okay.
great. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Pat, why don't you talk about your business ones?
Yeah, so the business ones have done really well just as far as like interaction stuff. So we just do giveaways, feature a local business. Every year, what I do is I do it at like the 12 days of Christmas. I should do it every month to be more consistent that way. But in December, it started from like having nothing to do in December because obviously we're pretty slow. So I featured 12 local businesses. Last year, what I started doing is bringing in 11 other agents. So each agent brought their own business. The reason that it does well is one, there's a giveaway involved, so people end up liking and sharing. Two, you're collaborating, so you're stealing audiences from the business, and in my case, also the other agent that's involved. So that's just kind of a general way to like put your face out there. And then the other thing is you're stealing from their audience, but it's an audience that I might not have. So for specific restaurants that are interested. And then the other thing is like people want to do business with who they know, like, and trust. If we have similar interests, that helps me establish those three things. So if I'm doing something, I mean, I still got to showcase the local gun shop. That's on my giveaway list. I just got to figure out how we can legally give away a gun because that's going to meet a lot of my common interests right there. But I've actually seriously contacted them and tried to figure out how Bronson we can do that. But so that's been good. But the other thing I was gonna say about videos is the easiest way to come up with content is the echo effect. Just say the things that you're saying already every day. So like a very common question we're getting right now is like, how do I buy a house when I have to sell mine? Just answer that to your phone and then post it. Like that's the easiest way to come up with good content is just say the things that you're already having conversations about every single day.
Yeah, some of that stuff was getting like 18, 19, 20,000 views on it, which was crazy. So that is like really good marketing. But this is the thing too with those ones, guys, with the businesses. If you're promoting local businesses, they're going to promote you, right? And it's creating such a good following. And we're not asking for anything. We're just going to go and promote them. We're not going to plug ourselves. We're just plugging the business and helping local businesses. So that's good. Email newsletters. Dom's there. Yeah.
Yes.
So Dom does one of the best email newsletters I've ever seen. And the other thing is she's consistent at it and very consistent. And do you find, Dom, that you're getting some return out of that? Like you obviously you're top of mind with all your clients, and Dom kills it in her market. She's in the Belleville market, guys, and she absolutely kills it over there with her team. And this is one of the things that I've noticed because I'm on her mailing list, and I'm very jealous of it because it's something that I've never mastered. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how you're promoting your stuff through that.
Sure. So we have our newsletters on a systemized like routine. So we have one a week that we send out. 1 week we do an event. 1 week we do our open house blast, where usually we'll do like open house for all of our listings. One of them, typically there's a holiday in a month, so we try to map it around that. And then the other one is like a self promo or just general info. So that's typically the first of the month. And it's something, it typically starts with, do you need a plumber in the market? Let us know. We want to be your person, but also if you have any referrals, send them to us. And I think that's really helpful for staying top of mind because it's hard to remember to follow up with the hundreds of people you've sold houses to. And it's a good way for them to feel like you're staying in touch without you actually going in and sending them an email weekly. And for other agents too, it looks good. I actually sponsored an agent that way just because she was on my newsletters.
Nice. So let me ask you this, the system that you're using to do that with, what system are you using to send it all out?
So it's the exact contact. I think you have it too, actually.
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
So You can do it through that too. You just, I mean, build up your database and then start on a routine of what you
Yeah.
want them to send out.
And guys, KV Core as well, like for those of you that are using KV Core has a system in there that you can do that with. And they even give you like examples of templates of, what you could be sending out. Now, Dom has mastered it, and that's why she's got so many going out, right? If you can start with one a month is better than none, right? If you can only do one a quarter, do one a quarter, but do something with it and start sending those out. Because again, at the end of the year, when I was taking Craig Proctor coaching, he used to always talk about having 33 touches a year, which I felt was like a lot. But I mean, Craig Proctor is one of the top guys in the world. So he obviously knew what he was talking about. But at 33 touches.
One newsletter a month is already 12 touches right there. So it's really not as much as you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So guaranteed Dom's doing 33 touches a year, right? And once you get that thing on autopilot, then it's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay.
I did
Anybody-
have something to add to the social media too.
Yeah.
So Instagram has been huge for me for staying in touch with people. So part of my scheduling every day is like following up with past people or cold lead creation, which I literally will go on Instagram and look at who's interacting with my stuff and start a conversation with them. So I try to do like 3 to 5 new people a day. And most of them honestly are already messaging me and I just turn it into a conversation about real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. And yesterday,
and I think you want to keep people engaged too. So like you can do things like interactive polls or quizzes. Like an example of that would be like, what factor of real estate do you guys think is the most important? Location, price, size, amenities, and then have them, choose. So keep it interactive, right? There's so many ideas like neighborhood spotlights, why you should buy in this area, why this is the fastest growing, neighborhood in Ottawa with, the fastest growing increase in price rate. Obviously, highlighting local businesses, client testimonials, like, if you have a house, that you're staging, show them the before and the after, spotlight that. Like there's literally endless ideas. Like it's just really up for you guys to actually do them when it comes to the content. And if you don't know, if you can't think of it, just go on AI and start asking questions, getting deeper, make a script for you, and then you just go and you just, regurgitate the script. Like it's all the tools are already there for you.
Yep. Now I'm going to add one thing to that Steve has done very well. Okay. So for those of you guys that are interested in attracting agents and building a revenue share group, Steve started, about 2 years ago with us. And he also does coaching stuff on there where he'll add value to real estate agents. And he has managed to attract over 300 agents to his team in the last 2 years. Okay. So, that's a significant amount of money every single month in passive income because he shot videos that were giving back to the community of realtors. All right. So that's the other side of it. Okay, guys. All right, moving along. Social media marketing. Obviously, we just kind of covered all this, right? One of the things that I was saying is that, when you're doing YouTube and all the different, things that are out there, you can do market updates. You can interact with the followers like we just talked about. But the other thing that I'm going to tell you that has been really good, I don't know if you guys saw, but like sometimes like we do flips, and one of the things that we've done during our flips is video, kind of the progress just with my phone. And you would be amazed how many people watch that stuff. Like I'm thinking, how bored can you be to watch me on a video? Because I'm awful at it, right? But you're watching it, and I'm running into people out on the golf course saying, "Hey, man, I've been watching your video on the flip, and how's it going?" And I've never met these people in my life, right? So it's crazy to see, how much people love reality TV, right? The thing is with reality TV, and I've been on it, it's all fake. So why don't we give them the real deal and show them what real estate is really about, right? So if you have some deals that are going sideways, talk about those deals. Talk about the crap that's going on, right? Talk about the bad stuff. Like we're always promoting the good stuff that's going on in real estate. Don't be afraid to show people what it's really like and what it's all about and put that on there because people love that. And if you got some funny stuff, Trevor's been really good with the, and Pat, you guys have had some funny stuff that you put out there. But don't be afraid to do that because I think that is, that's what people really want is what's real.
Do you
Right?
guys ever get backlash from your clients when you do that? Like I've had some crazy things happen and I want to do it, but I'm afraid about the client seeing it.
No, no. I don't get specific with names and things like that if
No, no,
something
no,
crazy
obviously
is
not.
going on. But you can talk about, Mrs. Smith or whatever, or, what just happened in a situation and whatever. I mean, throw some humor into it and have some fun with it. But now this is the other thing. Like you don't have to have a flip going on yourself. You could be involved when your clients flips and just ask permission. Hey, I'd love to, show people about this flip. And out of that, I actually get because I throw a little plug in there. If you're looking to do a flip, you're looking for something like this, let me know, right? And I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, yeah. And I picked up a few clients recently just from it. And now I'm looking for flips for them.
VA?
Right. So as long as I don't want them, right? Um, so so if I don't want them, they can have them. They can have leftovers. But go and film your clients' stuff that's going on. And you know what? They might like it. They might actually enjoy it, that they're part of the reality TV thing that's going on. And show the things that are going bad, right? Like when we ripped the siding off of our house and the wall was rotted, right? It was like, okay, that wasn't expected. But I showed that stuff and people like that stuff more than anything else. Okay. So,
People
and
also
again,
love story time. Like if you tell any stories of your life too, people love that. Like just knowing what you're up to and what you do behind the scenes other than just being an agent, I feel like that really helps people to relate with you.
yeah. And the point to that is that when you show up in somebody's house, they already know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. I guarantee, Don, that when somebody calls you to go list a house, it's because they followed you. It's because they know who you are. They've connected with you already online. And by the time you walk in the door, your chances of getting that deal are a lot higher because they probably already have connected with you on online. Right.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's huge for confidence too. Like because I know that, then I go in and I don't like I know I'm getting the listing. So I think it's really good to just show up and be authentic on
yeah,
everything.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Okay, email marketing. We just covered that. Sorry, we got sidetracked on one, but so we won't cover that again. All right, billboards. Now, some people might not agree with me on this, but I'm going to tell you a little story. So I stopped advertising for myself about 2 years ago. And because of those of you that know me with EXP, I was more focused on the agent attraction side of things, building our team there. And, we were successful doing that. And then this year, I was starting to realize that people were not calling me and were, going to other agents for some reason because they felt that I had retired. Because when I was in the prime of my business building, and selling, over 100 homes a year myself, it was because my face was plastered all over the city, right? I remember Steve and Tarek when they met me, they would come to Kingston and they were like, "Oh my God, right? He's all over the place." And that's what I wanted. I wanted that omnipresence, right? Because I used to take the Cardone coaching and I just wanted to make sure that I was everywhere, right? That people couldn't, go anywhere within a few miles and not see my face somewhere on a sign. And that created phone calls. I got a ton of business from it, right? Was I in the paper? Yes. Was I not? But now it's social media. So we're not in the paper anymore, but now we got to be on social media. So in December, I decided to do a campaign of billboards. So we put up, I think, 6 billboards within, our surrounding area. And we started doing more video content, obviously. And my phone's been ringing off the hook. I'm getting listings. I'm busy again. And people said they like when I talked to them now, they said, "We thought you were retired." All right. So lesson learned. I got to stop posting stuff when I'm in Arizona for the winter because that doesn't help, I'm sure. But you know, billboards, they do work. Steve, I know that you guys Steve's still on here. Yeah,
I'm
you guys
here.
just started billboard campaigns as well, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for Northern Alliance, it's so everyone has, you know, the teams that are within our group. I mean, if they want to participate in it, you can get your own billboard with Northern Alliance and your team name. And but we also do it just as a general for Northern Alliance for agent attraction as well. So there's client side and there's the agent attraction side, and there's
Yeah.
quite a few billboards that have just gone up within the, you know, throughout the city.
Yeah. So,
Hey Pierre, can you give me
yes,
your
sir.
thoughts on what I've been told on advertising this way is if it's an established name or brand, that billboards and that sort of advertising will work, but as someone who's up and coming in the industry and doesn't have that brand recognition in the area yet, that they're unlikely to work as much. What's your opinion on that?
I don't agree at all. And I'll
I
tell you
don't
why.
either.
I'll tell
Okay.
you why.
Okay.
My very first year in the business, okay, I was part-time and I plastered the city with my stuff. Okay. I was all over the papers. I was all over the billboards. I had bench signs everywhere. Because I was working part-time in real estate, I had money to live on, right? Because I had a full-time job, pay me good money. So everything I made in the real estate, I put it back into real estate. And that year, I made twice as much part-time as I did at my full-time job. Okay. And then my second year, so what happened was I was faking it until I made it, right? I invested in myself. And was I doing a lot of business? Not at the time, but the perception was, who the hell is this guy? Like, oh my God, we see him everywhere, right? And so that perception made me look like I was a bigger agent than I was, and my phone rang off the hook, and I got listings, and I became a listing agent from the very first year that I started. Okay. So you've got to invest back in yourself, and people got to know who you are. How else are they going to know who you are? How else are you going to become a brand? Right? You
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
McDonald's
Mark.
became
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
I was just going to say when literally I just sent in the chat that I put a billboard up like 2 months into being an agent. Like I probably didn't even know how to write an offer yet.
Okay.
But I think that really helped to legitimize me too. And being so young, like I was literally 20. I think it just gave people a little more faith that I was actually doing something and making money, where I probably wasn't. Like I probably had to work at 4 restaurants to pay for that billboard, but it still works. Like people just have a little more faith in you when they see your face.
Okay. Thank you.
And do you think McDonald's got that big without branding themselves in the beginning? I mean, they
Mhm.
were the marketing company, right? And this is what I believe, guys. We're not salespeople. I'm not a salesperson, but I'm a marketing person, right? And I believe in marketing. And even though I may not be good at all the new trends, I can hire somebody to do all the new stuff for me that is better than me, right? And in the beginning, I was doing it all myself, and I basically just threw mud on the wall as fast as I could. But some of the things we were doing, and we still do now, bench signs, rink boards, because we were people that were in and around the hockey world, right? Because our kids were there. I made myself known in the rinks that I was a real estate agent, right? Because what are you doing when you're watching your kids practice or whatever? Everybody wants to have a conversation about real estate. So if they don't know that you're in real estate, you're dead in the water. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to make any money. So people need to know that you're in the business, right? We did grocery store boards all over the place, digital billboards now. Now we're doing them in the hospitals, right? And I know, you know, Pat and Brandon, we started doing an ad campaign, and I don't know that they actually believe that this would work, because they're with the new, you know, the new models of social media. But Brandon called me this morning and said, "Hey, Dad, I just got a call on our billboard out on Battersea Road because this person wants us to go and look at their house." So it does work, right? In the hospital, I've had a ton of people say to me, they see me in the they see us in the elevator, right? And you know, so we get people seeing it. So again, it's brand awareness. So yes, it does work. So they say in real estate that you should spend 10 to 15% of whatever you're making in marketing. Okay. So you've got to allocate some money to it, because if you don't, then you're dying. All right. Now, if you're part of a team, then your team lead is the one that's doing that for you. Or if you're team leader, then you're doing it for your agents as well to promote. All right. Okay. I should not have to tell you guys this. All right. But if you're not, again, if you're not using technology to help you gain listings, because again, if your listings look good when other people are looking at stuff and your stuff looks better than everyone else's, then they're going to call you when it's time to list their house, right? It's the same thing about doing open houses. When you go do an open house, people are interviewing you. People are coming in there and they're trying to see what you're like. And they want to see how big of a splash you put on so that when they go to list their house, then guess what? Even if they're neighbors, guys, at some point, those people are going to sell their home. And if you did a good job and you impress them, then they're going to hire you. They're going to call you and they're going to remember you. So what are you doing to stand out? So yes, you should be using floor plans. Yes, you should be using high def pictures and high def videos and doing commercials at every single one of your properties. All right. Anybody want to add anything to this?
I think if I could add one little marketing tip too that I think is helpful is kind of like claiming something and using it as an identifying factor so people think of you. One thing, like I drink a lot of Red Bull, so I feel like I post it a lot. And now whenever anyone thinks of Red Bull, they send me a pic. They're like, haha, thought of you.
Yep.
And I think those are really big things too, which you might think is small, but they're not.
Yeah. That reminds me, one of our agents, Matthew Arsenault, I don't know how many followers he's got. Maybe 100,000, 200,000, I don't know. But he does the same thing with that Flow water, right? The certain water that he drinks, he's always promoting that. I think he gets paid to do it maybe now, but the thing is,
I wish Red Bull would pay me.
you know, when I see that Flow water in the store now, I think of Matthew Arsenault because of it, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Or
certain
Pat and his dead animals. Whenever anyone sees a dead animal, they think of Pat.
yeah. And that's true, right? That's become their brand. That, you know,
Yeah.
the deer coming out of the wall there. Yeah. All
Mhm.
right. Okay. Open house events. All right. What are you guys doing for open house events? So we have a thing called the mega open house, and I always suggest that in the very beginning, when you're first doing an open house, you blast it all over the place. Some of the things that you can do is create a flyer and go hand it out to 100 neighbors in the neighborhood, right? Say, hey, listen, we just listed this property. We're doing an open house this Sunday, 2 to 4. I know you already live in the area, but would love for you to stop by, have a look at it. Might give you an idea what your house is worth. But best of all, if you have any friends or relatives that are looking to move in the neighborhood, we'd appreciate you letting them know and have them come out and visit us on Sunday. And again, that's no pressure. It's just a bit of a, if you're going to do some door knocking, then that's one way of doing it. If you're afraid of door knocking, then at least put the flyer in the door and let them know that you're there. Do something. Okay. Make it a big splash. Have signs all over the place. All right. I know that some of our agents, I get calls from other agents. I got calls the other day on Joey, right? Hey, your open house isn't until Sunday and your signs are up on Tuesday. You got to tell your agents to relax. I'm like, no, I won't do that. Right. Put your signs out, especially if your signs have your face on them. That's marketing for the week. If the city doesn't like it, they'll call us and they'll tell us to take it down. All right. Don't worry about what the city says or whatever. If there's an issue, just go take it down. They'll call you, right? They're not going to throw you in jail for that. So, make sure that your signs are out, they're plastered. I know Pat has, agents have made all kinds of comments on social media about him having like 10, 15 signs out. If you look in the back of his truck, it's full of signs. And I'm like, why do you need this many signs? But he's taking it to another level. But again, it draws attention, right? What are you doing to draw attention to you? And that's all marketing. Okay. So mega open houses, branded flyers in the neighborhood, put lots of signs out, make it an event, have some music going on, have some, things out for people to have to eat and drink or whatever. And, again, be consistent with it, because I'll tell you what, guys, I built my business on open houses. And if anybody wants to tell me open houses don't work, come and see me, call me. I'll do a coaching call with you. They do work, but you've got to do them and you've got to be consistent. Again, the conversion rate is 3 to 4%, right? But it's the same thing with leads. But the thing is, you have to have 7 or 8 different pillars coming in to create a really nice 6-digit income, right? Steve and I, we always learned that from Proctor, right? 7 or 8 pillars. Make sure that you've got different things. And that's why I'm trying to show you a few of these things here, guys. And maybe I'm overwhelming you with a lot of different things. But if today you could just take 2 or 3 and implement those 2 or 3, and then, get good at those and then go implement 2 or 3 more later. All right. Anybody want to add anything to this? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I want to add one thing, but I mean, that's a whole topic on its own, so I don't want to take too much time there, but
Oh, go. We got time.
What I do, what I used to do, and what I have, the agents do is find out where the open house is, go to your map on MLS, circle the area or put the districts around, then search for the expireds and the for sale by owners that are within that area. And it gives you a reason to door knock those specific ones, because then you invite those for sale by owners and the expireds to your open house as a start. You sell the house, and then after that, you get into the whole for sale by owner expired pitch, which is another topic. I covered that once, but it gives you a reason to knock on these people that are already putting their hand up saying we want to sell our home. And what it shows is that you're doing door knocking for open houses around your area, which those expired agents that, when their home expired, they probably weren't doing that. So it sets you apart, it gets a conversation started, and you try and set up appointments that way. But that's what I used to use open houses for, as an opportunity to prospect what I call turbo listings.
Love it. Love it. Again, you got to do the work, guys, right? These things are all, they all involve time and effort. But if you're looking for results that some of these top agents are getting, like Steve, you've got to do the little things that other agents aren't willing to do. Okay. All right. Next one, build relationships, networking. Networking is one of the biggest things that you could do in our business. All right. Whether you're networking with other agents. Okay. We have a thing called Workplace on Facebook with EXP that if you haven't figured that out yet, you've got to get on Workplace. And if you follow that thing, there's referrals going back and forth in different groups. And if you pay attention to that, you're gonna pick up referrals. Now, I will make a suggestion, right? I did this with Brandon and he's picked up a ton of referrals with it. But one of the suggestions I'm gonna say is a lot of times people will just put in their name and their phone number and say, yep, I'm in that area, right? There's a little symbol right beside that person's name that has the phone. Click on that symbol, actually call the person and have a conversation and say, hey, I'm in the Ottawa area. This is why you should use me. All right. I'll be right on it. I'm excited. I do a lot of business in this area. I know that area. I'll make sure your clients are very well looked after. Right. You just did something that 9 out of 10 agents won't do because we've gotten lazy and we've started texting people. All right. Pick up the phone, have a conversation, get personal with these people. Okay. Because you will get business from it. All right. If you're not part of a military, like in Kingston and Ottawa, I know there's a lot of military folks as well. You can become part of the military network. What I do is I look at where all the Army bases are in Canada, and I look at the top 10 or 15 agents, and I would network with those guys and say, hey, I'm in Kingston. If you ever need anything here, I'm bilingual. Let me know. I'll even say, hey, I'll give you 30% instead of 25%. And again, part of that mailing list, those agents should be on your mailing list so that you are top of mind for your city. So that when they do refer, then they're thinking about you. Okay. So there's nothing stopping you from contacting the top 10 agents in Toronto, the top 10 agents in, I don't know, Kitchener or whatever, and saying, hey, I'd love to work with you. Is there anything I can do to help you with your business? I will, I'd be happy to send them your way. Right. Mortgage agents. Okay?
Are you calling or emailing them, Pierre?
I'm a phone call guy. So now I don't do this anymore because I've got a big network now. And so, I created that, but in the first, I'm going to say the first 10, 15 years of my career, I called, and then we had them on a mailing list as well. And they were part of our mailing list. So once a month, they would get something from us of value for our area. But again, it was top of mind. And, you know, back then we also had a military magazine that would go out, and I would do a full page ad in the military magazine that would say I was in Kingston. Right. So again, it's using your different networks. Mark, you're a curler, right? You're a golfer. You use that network to build your business because those are people that already relate to you, right? So use those things, right? Talk about golf courses, talk about different things that you're doing, so people will connect with you. Okay. Seniors programs. This was another one that we did that was pretty cool. Went around to all the seniors' homes and found out who the main person was there that was dealing with people coming in. And you know what? I would work something out with them that if they would refer me somebody, you know, I'd buy them dinner at the keg. And they know when those people are moving into a home, they're usually got a house to sell. All right. So be creative and definitely partner up with a few mortgage brokers that you think are good. And if they start sending you stuff, then obviously, you know, you're going to send them stuff as well and build those relationships. I had two people, a lady and a guy. One was a mortgage broker, one was from Scotiabank. I was with those people for 16 or 17 years in total. I stayed with the same two people. Okay. Because we had built such a strong relationship that they constantly sent me stuff. But they also knew that their clients were going to be looked after and the deals were going to get done. Right. So you got to work hard. All right. Local communities, you know, doing different events, different things that you can do, sponsor teams. That was one of the things that we did a lot of, right? Because again, we were in the hockey community, we were in the soccer community, all the different sports that we played. We sponsored teams everywhere. So that again, top of mind. And when you're sitting at those games, you're having conversations with people, right? They got to know that you're a real estate. Stop being an undercover realtor. So many of you guys are not letting people know that you're in real estate. Why? Are you afraid? Because if you're afraid, you're going to be broke. So stop being afraid, start talking. You know, if you want to have a conversation with somebody, you meet somebody at a party, hey, what do you do for a living? Ah, you know, I'm a nurse or I'm a fireman or whatever. They're going to ask you next, what do you do? Well, I'm a realtor. Everybody wants to talk about real estate. So if you don't want to talk about real estate and you're tired of talking about real estate, again, you're going to be broke. So you better be ready to talk real estate, and you better be ready to answer the question, how's the market going? Okay. I golf with three new guys on Tuesday morning. But I swear to God, half of the game was we were talking about real estate. I was getting sick of it. Okay. But I just met three new people that I didn't know before that are pretty influential. And they now know that I know what I'm talking about because I know what's going on in the market. Okay. So sponsor sports team, interview local businesses on social media to promote, and volunteer at local events. Okay. If you're having a hard time meeting people, go volunteer. Go do something that's good for the community. Give back to the community and just be a giver. Anybody want to add anything to that?
Yes. I think also having parties is really good. Like on a serious
I haven't done
note,
that one yet.
I hosted like a girls' night a couple of weeks ago, for example, and I had a couple of vendors come out. A girl that was doing permanent bracelets. I had my sneaker guy out. And then they invite their networks. So we ended up having probably like 50 people at my office, and we were
Nice.
just networking with all of them.
Nice.
So I
Nice.
think hosting something that's not meant to be a networking event, but turning it into that is important.
100%. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. Okay. Reviews. You guys got to start working on these reviews, especially on Google and stuff like that. You know, Pat, Trevor, you guys are good at this. You've had a lot of good reviews, right? How's that been working for you?
Yeah, I think we're number 2 or 3 in the city for as far as number, like how many reviews.
Yeah.
And so when people are Googling realtors in Kingston, we end up coming up, and we've had probably a handful of listings in the last year, or listing appointments at least, that we went on, just people calling us because they Googled realtors and we came up. I actually learned that the hard way because I got a bunch of bad reviews for, that's a whole other story. And then people ended up like helping me helping me out by
Misunderstanding.
leveling. Huh?
It was a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
Lovely.
we'll leave it at
Let's
that.
keep-
And then, but people had like, you know, rallied to the cry and left me a bunch of really good reviews. And then all of a sudden my phone started ringing and I was like, I really realized the power of this because I think it's also about how recently you got reviewed and how frequent, just as much as it is how many. But yeah, like those calls are pretty cool. It's like, hey, can you come meet me and talk about listing our home just because they looked up Kingston real estate agents. So we've taken it very seriously. Like part of our like we have a Trello board and an Excel spreadsheet for every aspect of our transaction. And part of the Excel spreadsheet is like, did it close? Yes or no? Did we get paid? Yes or no? And did we get a review? So it's like, that's how important we made it is like, we don't move on from that transaction until those people have left us a review. Because you know, that's whatever, however many deals you're doing a year, that's how many reviews you should get. And also you should reach out to other agents. Like we've had everybody from our team review us. So that's another, you know, 60 agents in town that's reviewed us. Like how many agents do you know? Get those agents to review you and then you review them. Because I don't think it really matters if they're writing stuff. It just matters how many 5-star reviews you get.
Right. So, okay. So what is the process when you get, like, I'm going to assume I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. What is the process when you get that review? Are you sending them a special link for a review or are you, how are they giving you the?
Yeah. So after the deal is done, we just say, well, Trevor, I don't know. You sent the email.
Yeah, once the deal closes, we send them an email just to kind of obviously congratulate them again on closing. And then, you know, we have a little blurb in there about how referrals obviously are very important. And also we build our business off of reviews and we send them the direct link to the review thing. So when they click that link, it literally opens up just the box for how many stars and what do you want to say about working with Pat. And we make it super, super easy. And then if they don't review us, then, you know, after about a week or 2 weeks, hit them again and just say, hey, you know, hope you guys are settling in well. Just wanted to ask you again for your review. Means the world to us.
All you gotta, like, we make it sound easy because it is.
Yeah.
You click the link, hit the 5-star review, that's it. You don't have to leave us any notes, nothing. Like most of them will leave notes that, you know, will say something nice about you, but
You spoon feed it to them pretty
yeah,
much.
we just stay on them. Hey, listen, it would mean a lot to me. It helps my business, whatever. Like we'll just keep following up until they do it.
We've also done campaigns in the past where we've sent out mass emails to every client that Pat's ever worked with. And we say, you know, we're trying to get our reviews up. So if you leave us a review, we'll enter your name in for a draw for what, you know, name the prize, whatever. And that worked really, really well. We did that in January and we got quite a few reviews off that alone from clients that we haven't heard from in a couple of years too.
So by the way, Trevor's gonna enter our review thing in the chat right now. So if anybody wants to leave us a review, maybe we can do the same for you. That's another, how many people we got on this call? We could get some reviews going right now.
Yep. Yep. So guys, just so you know, like the marketing company I was just with, that started with me in December, one of the things they were saying about the Google reviews is that when you're doing the website stuff, you're doing the Google stuff, you're doing the video content on YouTube and everything's connecting back to your website, it brings up your whole algorithm and you can't just do one, you got to do them all. And if you're doing all these things, then you're just going to get top of mind even more and more and more. And you're just going to keep going up the ladder. And I'll tell you why, because most agents will do one of these things. They won't do 5 or 6 or 7 because it's too much work. Well, there's a reason the people that are doing these things are making the money that they're making. Okay. So we're not just throwing this out there and saying, hey, you know, do this. The people that are speaking today are making a ton of money in real estate. So it works, but you got to do the work. Okay. All right. Keep yourself informed about market trends, changes in regulations, upcoming developments. Know what you're talking about in real estate, guys. Know what the trends are. Know what, you know, basically, you know, how many days on the market, because you're going to get questions like that, right? So if you're not the professional and you don't look like you know what you're talking about, then guess what? You're dead. You're dead in the water. Okay. So you want to be able to have valuable insights to potential buyers and sellers, positioning yourself as the expert in the market, share the knowledge on all platforms. All right. Okay. We kind of touched on that. Radio campaigns. Now we've done radio campaigns and they work, and we're about to start some new radio campaigns here shortly. Once our website is up and running and we're wanting to do what we want to do, I am actually going to start doing some radio campaigns again. Because when we did do it, people were saying to me, hey, I heard you on the radio, and I made sure that I was the one speaking on it. right? Because again, I want people to know what I'm talking about. They want, they want to recognize my voice and everything else. So now they're going to see me all over the place. They're going to hear me all over the place. And we're going to have the omnipresence within the entire, and you can do different things on here, guys. You can give market updates, right? Again, if you become the news and you become the one that knows what's going on in the market, people will reach out to you when it's time to list their properties. Okay. Have a unique selling proposition and stay top of mind. All right. Thanks for attending, guys. And the last thing that I'm going to say is the best marketer wins. Okay. If you are not, when you look at all the top realtors, I'm going to tell you what I heard at a mastermind. And I think Steve was at that mastermind, the last event we were at. There was a guy by the name of Justin Haver, who's #1 with Remax in Canada. I don't know if he's #1 in the world. He might be. But this guy's got like 50 agents on his team. And he talked about how he became #1. And I'll tell you this, he told us that his budget was 75 to 80,000 a month. Okay. In marketing, just in marketing. Now you might think that's crazy. And obviously, you didn't start with that. That's not how he started. But the guy last year sold, I think, 1,800 homes. Do you think he paid for that 75,000 a month? Right. So he made a lot of money. Okay. Just put it that way. When you're selling 1,800 homes a year, you're making some serious money. All right. So, but he invested in his marketing, and his marketing is what made him top of mind. And that's what ended up doing it. But he is a marketer. He said himself, I'm good at marketing. I'm not good in sales. So the best marketer wins. Okay, guys, listen, thank you so much for being here today, guys. Appreciate you. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to me anytime, or Steve.
Is it recorded, Pierre?
It is, and it'll be on Steve. What website? You guys are putting that on your website, eh? Northern Alliance?
Sorry, putting what on the website?
So you're putting the recordings on the website, right?
Yeah, the website should be finished soon.
Yeah. So we're going to have all of these every week. We're going to have these recorded, and moving forward, guys, these are going to be on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. And we have somebody different every week doing something. And the guys that are coaching on here are all top producers, and they're killing it. And they're out in the trenches right now building this thing, and they're willing to share with you guys. And you're welcome to invite other agents. They don't have to be at EXP. Anybody can attend this, guys. We just want to help everybody as much as we possibly can. And if you need us, reach out to us. We're here to help.